Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ.
And we are wrapping up 2025 and getting ready for 2026. I guess, it is 2026 when this is releasing.
Yes.
Today, for us recording, it's the last day of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about the books that we've read. Do you plan on finishing anything else tonight, LJ?
I am not sure because what am I reading? Yeah, The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. And that is to be determined because also today is the last episode of Stranger Things coming out at 7. So it just depends how tired I am after that, or if I'm like real like, and then maybe I'll finish that one. If not, I'm just going to, there's no pressure. Like I don't feel the pressure. I met my reading goal this year. I am happy. What about you? Are you going to finish any more?
I am not. I'm done for the year. I did finish a book that I had been trying to finish for a while, and it was a struggle, and I finished it last night or yesterday afternoon, actually, while I was at work listening to it, and I didn't even get to go to the Neighbor Books book club
Oh
after
no.
all that. So I was like, I
After
read the
all
book that I
that.
didn't want to read, but
But you
that's
finished.
okay.
Okay,
So
I
how
did
many
think
books did you read?
well, hang on. I do think I'm going to finish one more because you know how I started this summer and have like 3 chapters left in Crucial Confrontations?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to finish it. That's going to be the goal. So right now I'm at
Okay.
104 books. That's going to be book 105. It's going to happen.
You can do that.
I had misplaced the book and I found it earlier today. So
I love it.
so we're gonna I'm gonna even note it because you guys, if you don't know, I keep a notebook next to me and I take notes on things that Leyna says that I want to remember, even though I know I could just ask her, but I would forget. So I'm gonna write that down right now. Finish Crucial Confrontations, which is a really good book. I just ran out of time, you guys. I was reading fiction instead of, other things. But I will end with 105. That's going to be the either 104 or 105, but we're going to say 105 with this one.
I am at 144, and
Woohoo!
I gotta say, it bothers me a little bit that I didn't get to 150. Like, I'm not gonna go read 6 books.
Oh
But
God,
I was like,
no.
it's so close.
It's
But
amazing.
yeah, that's the most books I've ever read. I've only been tracking since I think 2019,
Mm-hmm.
but this is definitely the most books I've ever read. Last year was 106, so I went above and beyond. And I didn't have a book goal for this year as far as a number of books to read. So
No, because I think because you were almost overwhelmed last year, worried about meeting your goal, and
yeah,
then you exceeded it. And it's almost like I know, like I am a super competitive person and I really am good at channeling it with myself because I had
hmm
many years miserable competing with people and it just is stupid. It's part of my I
yeah.
like these little races with myself and so that's what I do and I know that has challenged you in some ways too. And which I love that because I love seeing you go after your goals. That's one of the things that I think people mistake also with us Enneagram threes is that yes, we're competitive, but we're also like we want our people to win. So
hmm
I was so excited when you got past me, and there was a part of me that was like, don't catch up. Like you like you don't like this is not a competition. And I don't know, I'm just so impressed because you really were worried about hitting 100 last year, and look at you, almost
yeah,
150 this year.
yeah. I'm shocked, honestly.
And it
But I had
wasn't
a lot of
hard.
it wasn't. I didn't feel like I was doing anything crazy or
Mhm.
I had a moment a couple of like maybe 2 months ago where I was like, am I reading too much? Like, am I missing out on something else in life? Like, what is going on?
Mhm.
And I think that it was just that I was listening to so many audiobooks that it was easier to do that. But
Oh no,
I will say
definitely.
having library books, because that's where I get most of my audiobooks from, is from the library, from Libby, and they have a deadline. And that kind of helps me like, okay, if you want to read this, because most of the books that I read have a hold. So I get it. And then I'm like, if I want to read this, I have to read this now. So that does help make me read.
That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. And in case anyone hasn't been listening that long, part of why we talk about that, we keep a pulse on our mental health because we've both struggled with different things at different seasons of life, but I had a couple of years where I read a ridiculously insane amount. Like one
Like
year was
250, right?
275 books one year.
That blows my mind.
And me too. Now it was part of it was that was 2022. So 2021 was the bit like I know COVID hit in 2020, but I only read like 100 books that year. I'm only, whatever. The next year I read like 200 like in 2021. So 2022 we were kind of on we weren't as, like, crazy we weren't, like, quarantining as much or
Mhm.
anything, like, the world was mostly back together, and I still read 275 books, and that should have been a sign that my mental health it wasn't, though, but to me looking back, my mental health was not that great, I was missing out on life, so, we check in with each other, and no, Leda was just listening to a lot of audiobooks and doing life, we were doing life together,
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's kind of what our podcast is all about,
it
reading
is.
books and doing life.
Yep. Yep, indeed.
And
So, you did 144 as of now.
yes,
I've done 104 as of now. I kind of don't want to finish that other book. So, like,
it's even.
it's even like that. I know. I don't know. I don't
Decisions,
know.
decisions. I do
Decisions.
like it whenever things are nice and even.
Yeah.
And that was the runner in me. I would always be like, okay, well, I'm at 2.97 miles. I have to go zero point zero 0.03 more. Like I would run a little bit more just to hit the even three.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Cause let's be honest, fives are even numbers. I don't care what anyone says. Fives are even numbers.
Yeah.
I,
It's a clean feeling.
it
That's why
is.
I'm like 145 or 150, but there's no way I can finish. I can't finish one more book. I'm reading Tower of Dawn,
Yeah.
and
No, you got to savor that one. And you're listening, right? Or are you reading it?
yeah, I'm listening,
Oh,
but
it's so
I still
good.
have several hours left to go.
And enjoy it. Oh my gosh. I listened to Tower of Dawn this year, as Lena knows,
Mhm.
and so I'm like, yeah, don't I mean, and this was my 3rd time to go through it, so I'm like, "Just enjoy, just enjoy." Anyway,
Yeah,
alright.
Sarah J. Maas was actually one of my top authors this year. I read
She
5 Sarah J. Maas books, and if you would have told me, gosh, last year that I would read 5 more Sarah J. Maas books, I would have been like, "You're lying," because I hate A Court of Thorns and Roses. Love Crescent City, but I hate A Court of Thorns and Roses, and now I have fallen back in love with Sarah J. Maas, and I think I just don't like A Court of Thorns and Roses, but love everything else.
yeah, I think that's valid, and funny
Yeah.
enough, SJM is my top author because I read all 7 Throne of Glass books. And I know people listening are like, "There is an 8th," yes, but I choose to ignore The Assassin's Blade because I did not enjoy it, and you can come for me all you want, I don't care.
And that one is a shorter one too, right?
It has a bunch
In
of novellas.
comparison? Okay.
What it has
Yeah.
a bunch of novellas. And
Okay.
okay, I mean, maybe if I had read them as individual novellas, if they were released separately, maybe I would appreciate them more, but it just is like, okay, this is like a 300-page book.
I
It's
have
fine.
not read that one yet, and I don't know if I plan to. We'll see.
Okay. We'll
Jenny Hill was actually my number 1 author
Oh,
with
I
6
love it.
books. So
I
I
love
read 6 Jenny
that.
Hill books, so I had, like I'm like, "Oh, she's just so sweet."
See?
Yeah. I
I've
see why
loved her for
you enjoyed
years.
her so much. Yeah.
I know, it's crazy to me. I'll catch up again because I really had at one point had read all of her books and was, like, on track whenever she released a new one, but I've gotten behind the last few years.
This is the first year I've ever read any Jenny Hill.
I
So I went
know!
all in
You did go
on the
all in.
Jenny Hill.
So who was your number 2 author? Or do you have, like, a
Sarah J.
tie?
Maas. So it was Jenny Hill at 6 books, Sarah J. Maas with 5. Who
Uh-huh.
was your top 2?
Someone You Hate was number 2. You
No,
hate
who
with
do
a
I
passion.
hate? Stephen King.
Yes, Stephen King. Yep.
I say that with hate in my heart.
I know, and I'm sitting here, I know I'm still listening to On Writing,
Mhm.
but I'm, like, itching for an actual Stephen King right now. That's gonna probably be something I'll probably pick up one maybe in the next month or so because 'cause I'm feeling the itch for, like, classic Stephen King.
You had mentioned on our last episode that you were reading On Writing, and you were like, "If you think he was on drugs, he was." And maybe that's why I don't like his books. Maybe I don't like it when people write on drugs.
That is possible because I know there's that book that I read with my family book club that I didn't even finish, and it's the one that wrote the guy that wrote Bonfire of the Vanities or something. this other psychedelic book. It was awful, and I think he was high when he wrote it, and it just was not good. I'm just saying. Anyway, whatever, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So did you have, like, a 3rd place author or, like, a tie?
My third place was Suzanne Collins because we read the Hunger Games
Mhm.
trilogy, and then we read Sunrise on the Reaping, and then we did wait, did we read Sunrise on the Reaping or Ballad of
Sunrise on the
Songbirds
Reaping.
and
No, not the one that there's, like, 50 names for.
that we can't ever
Sunrise
get right?
yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping. That's the
Okay.
one that I read anyway. I don't know, you might have read that
Hamish's
one too.
story. I read Hamish's story, which
Yes,
is
we did.
okay, Sunrise on the Reaping. Okay.
Sunrise on the Reaping, yes.
What
Okay,
about you?
so
What was your number 3?
there was a tie between Tessa Bailey, Frida McFadden, Agatha Christie, and R.L. Stine.
I love that tie.
Like,
Take Tessa Bailey out and you have like a whole genre right there.
I know, which speaking of that, because you went on Storygraph too, what was your top genre of the year?
Okay, so one, this is funny because last year I was like, I'm gonna do Storygraph. And so I transferred over my stuff
Yeah.
and then I did not use it. So I had already I started using it in December.
Mhm.
So I already have some books on there. So I have manually typed in all of my books, all 144, and put the start dates and end dates. I did not go into star ratings, so I was like, I just can't. But I did that most of it today, just
Oh
so
my
I could have
gosh,
this information.
Leyna! Oh my gosh. I thought you were
So,
transferring data over or
oh
something from
no, I
Goodreads.
was doing it old school because I was
Oh
like,
my
I've already
gosh.
transferred it, and I started in December because the Neighbor Books Fantasy Book Club was talking about how they were using it. I was like, that's really cool. I want to start doing that. And so then I had some of the stuff there, but not all of it. Anyway,
Oh
so I
my
did all that.
gosh.
But now I know all of my information and I'm committed. I'm doing Storygraph,
Okay.
just putting it out there. I'm going to keep doing Goodreads too, but I'm going to do both. But my top 3 genres were romance, mystery, and fantasy. And I feel
Okay.
like fantasy was the newcomer on the block because last year I feel like romance and mystery were up there for me as well.
Mhm. Well,
What about you?
I can tell you, so I kinda have similar. My top one was thriller, my second one was romance, and my third one was fantasy. So I feel
Nice.
like thriller and mystery are pretty close.
They are. And I feel like last year mine was romance, mystery, and thriller. So
Mhm.
I've read a little bit more fantasy this year than thriller, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I
What
think I've
about
read
your moods?
okay,
Your
my mood.
moods for
So I wrote the top 5 because they were all
okay.
pretty even across. Mysterious, dark, tense, emotional, adventurous. Those are my top
Ooh.
5.
I had top 3 and they were like emotional on hand over fifth. Like it was so much higher than all the other moods. Then mysterious, then adventurous.
Interesting. So we did have some
Mhm.
overlap there. So yeah.
And what were your goals for 2025? Do you remember?
So I wanted to do 100 books and our no, I did 75. Remember I upped it. I had to up it because I did 75 originally and I wanted to do our bingo card, which I
Okay.
did, which I don't have it in front of me, but I
I'm like,
did.
I don't have it in front of me either.
But
But I
I did
finished the bingo
finish it.
card
Yeah,
too.
I
Yeah.
did. So yeah, woohoo. So I met my
Yeah.
I exceeded my reading goal and then yeah, I did that.
And if you don't know what we're talking about with our bingo card, last year we put it out on our Instagram. This year we're going to put it out on Patreon and we're going to have a bingo card for anyone who signs up for our Patreon at the free level. You don't have to sign up for like a paid membership, but we're going to have that on the free level for anyone who wants to join us.
Mhm.
So it's go to Patreon, look up More Than a Book Club podcast, and there we are. And you can see it'll be on there with no paywall, and you'll be able to download it for free. But it's just a fun way to try to get more books in.
Mhm.
And we did it. We both did it. Instead of trying to get a bingo, we did a blackout. So that
Yes.
means all of it.
Or change it up if like 1 month you're like, I wanna get 4 corners, another month or
Hmm.
by March, I wanna get bingo 5 in a row somewhere. I think have fun with it, like you said. I might even try to challenge myself to do that. We did reuse some categories because we didn't want it to be an impossible bingo card,
Yes.
but we did put categories as well to challenge ourselves to
Mhm.
get outside of our reading comfort zone.
And definitely this year, I think horror was the one that I was like, I don't read horror. And I read that and I actually really enjoyed it. I think I just didn't know what type of horror I liked. So
Mhm.
I learned something.
Yes, you do not like Stephen King horror, but there is other horror
There's
that you
tons
do
of
like.
other, yeah,
There is.
paranormal, supernatural, yeah, and there's a lot of really great authors out there. So
Well, yeah, like Simone St. James, who is one of your favorites,
yes,
I believe she falls under horror, even
yes.
though I don't think hers are quote unquote horrific, you know? They are a
I
little
think like
scary.
it's like a paranormal
Mhm.
horror. You also have that umbrella where you're
Mhm.
looking at horror and it falls under speculative fiction. And so you have a lot of books that fit that genre, I guess,
Mhm.
but then there's subgenres where it breaks it down even more. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to find the subgenre that you like.
No, that's fair. For example, I do love horror books. I don't like ones that read like slasher films. I don't
Yeah.
like to read gore. I don't like to watch
Mhm.
gore either. And I know people are like, "But you love true crime." Okay. But I like the storytelling aspect and like the mystery behind true crime and the process of finding them. I don't want all the details. I It's very hard for me to hear the details, be it true or fiction, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want the descriptions.
And I know for me, my big goal was to read 10 physical copy books, and I surpassed that. So I was very happy. I don't know where exactly I am with that because I kind of stopped counting after I hit 10,
Well, yeah, you didn't need to know after that. Yeah.
but I was like, yay. I want to say it's closer to like 15. So
Okay, that's good.
yeah, I was happy with that goal for next year. My goal will kind of be the same,
Yeah.
complete our bingo card,
Yeah.
get another blackout, but then also I have Kindle Unlimited, but I don't always use it.
A
So
lot of stuff on there.
there's a lot, like all of the Dungeon Crawler Carl books
Yeah.
are on there. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's all on Kindle Unlimited. So my goal is to read one Kindle Unlimited book a month.
I love that.
So we'll see. And that you and I have been on NetGalley recently and got a lot of arcs,
Yes.
and a lot of those are on Kindle. So I'm not counting those. I
That's
want to
fair.
use what I'm paying for, I guess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's different. That's not Kindle Unlimited. That's a different that's NetGalley. And I'm kind of
Yes.
with you on that. I feel like this past year I haven't read as many on Kindle Unlimited. There was one year, I think it was like maybe a year ago, it like gave me a some sort of statistical thing. Happened to catch the right email from Amazon because they send like 50 a day, I swear. And it talked about how many books I'd read on Kindle Unlimited that year. And I read like 50 something Kindle Unlimited books. And that's really good. I got my money's
That's
worth
getting your
there.
money's worth.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like that. And so I want to continue to look there. I also want to try to get some more arcs and
Mhm.
use the library more. What's been harder, because I do use the library, our McKinney library, Lena can attest to this. I don't really like the cloud library app. It's
Yeah.
fine, but and I'm currently locked out of my Plano one for Libya. I need to figure that out, but I think that's going to require me going in person. So, you know, that's a future LJ problem.
Uh,
But and then also the library by my house, like the physical library by my house is closed for renovations for
yes.
like, I don't know what, 10 more months. It's not as close to go pick up, you know, holds,
Books.
but it's okay. We're still, if it's a physical book, we're going to do better about that. I also can look at my school library. I can check out books from my
That's a
school
good
library.
idea.
I know. So there's a lot of
I
YA
want to
and
say that
fantasy, and
can adults in general check out books from a school library, or do
I
you
don't
have
think
to?
so.
No? Okay.
I think it has to be, I think staff member,
A
actually, I don't
student
even know.
and staff.
I assume that I can. I know that in Plano you could. Like, the teachers
Okay.
could check out. I assume you can as well. Like, well, teachers can borrow them for their classroom for things, so, I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
You're like, it's for my classroom.
Yeah, like, I'll read it too, but, you know, it's fine. But, yeah, so that's my goal, is try to spend as little money as possible on books, so that when I go to events, like, if I wanna get a signed copy, then it's not like, "Oh, do I have the money for it?" I want it to be like, "Yes,
Right.
I can get my signed copy," which you should have all pre-ordered, The Burning Side by Sarah Damoff. pre-order signed copy from Neighbor Books in McKinney, Texas. If you haven't, go do it now.
And it's on her Instagram too. So if you follow Sarah Damoff on Instagram, she has a link on there. I think it's like one of her pinned photos. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think one of my other goals this year, I created a document last night and I'm going to put it up on our Etsy shop,
Ooh.
which if you haven't been to our Etsy shop, More Than a Book Club, not More Than a Book Club podcast. It's just More Than a Book Club. It is a list of the books that you already own. So you go in and you
Ooh,
catalog the books that you already own, the author and the genre, and then you put a check mark next to it whenever you have finished it.
ooh, I
And
like
I
this.
have a lot of books that I have not read that I've had for years. I think whenever we had Sarah Damoff on the podcast, she was talking about being inspired by the Lost Children's Archive. And I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I have that book. Never read it, but I have it." And so I was kind of thinking last night, I was like, "What if instead of going out and buying new books, I read the books that I already have that had already excited me at some point because I bought them,
Right,
right?"
right.
Kind of go through that, and then even if you're feeling like a certain genre or a certain mood, you can go through and look and see like this is what I already have,
Mhm.
fit the criteria and read that. So I was like, maybe our readers will like that too, and they can kind of catalog their own libraries and go through and read from what they have. This is an economically tough time for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I think the easier you can, read what you have, borrow from the library, that still supports authors. I mean,
Mm,
one, if you've already owned it, you're still supporting, you supported them in the past. And
yes.
then also, I know like Neighbor Books is doing used book sales, and you can go and turn your books in to like the used book sale and then get other books back. So there's options like that in your community, I'm sure, to go find some cheaper things and buy nothing on Facebook. I've done that before. People will post books on there, and I've gone and picked those up. So
Nice.
I don't know, just options for people who, if you're like, I don't really want to buy news books.
Yeah. No, no. I get you because I don't wanna spend I don't wanna spend money if at all possible. So, yay. Okay,
And
but
I
bef
would rather spend it at a local bookshop than I
yes,
would at a big
me
box
too.
retailer.
Me
Anyway,
too. Okay, so before we start looking ahe even more into 2026, what were your top books of 2025? If you wanna just list them.
I'm just going to list them.
Okay.
Um, Anne of Green Gables, The Funeral Ladies of Ellery County, Alive and Beating, The Wedding People, The Bright Years, Atmosphere, My Friends, Everything is Tuberculosis, The Name, Strangers in Time, The Book Witch, which technically comes out next year,
Oh, I didn't even
The
put that
Road,
on here. Yes. Okay, yeah.
and The Road to Tender Hearts. And I did have a couple of honorable mentions that I was like, oh, I want to add them too, but LJ had a list of 12, so I had a
Okay,
list of 12.
so what's the honorable mention? I'm gonna add The Book Witch to my honorable mention.
So Waikoloa Warfare, which is Christine Wellert's book.
Yes.
And then another one was What's Yours is Mine, Jennifer Jabley. And then
Oh, I forgot about
The
that
Seven
one.
O'Clock Club, which I think I talked about it on here before, but it
I think
had
you
that
did
kind of
too.
supernatural, had a twist that I wasn't expecting, but it was really good.
So now I've got it where I've got 3 honorable mentions as well. Okay,
Okay.
so my top books of 2025, and these are not in order of favorites. This was I went through my list throughout the year. So The God of the Woods, The Last Battle, That's Not My Name, Killer Story, Alive and Beating, The Wedding People, My Friends, The Bright Years, Beach Club Bloodshed, Quicksilver, Oh Golly Night, and The Dead Romantics, which, if I had to pick a favorite of the year, I think I'm picking The Dead Romantics. I really
Oh,
liked it. I feel like it hit everything. It's not like it is a romance, but it's funny, it's
hmm,
quirky. There's some supernatural, so we could say there's some horror in there. I don't know.
yeah.
There's mystery. So like I feel like it encompassed a lot. It was a good book to end the year on. So just
Hmm.
thought I'd throw that out there. This is something that Lena has told me about for a while, this author, and I've owned the book for a while and I finally read it. So
See, if only you had a tracking device
I
that
know.
tracks your book.
Okay, Okay, well, first, let me tell you my 3 honorable mentions, and then I have a question for you regarding that. So my
Okay.
honorable mentions are The Book Witch, which does come out this year. What's Yours Is Mine. I'm glad you mentioned that one because I forgot about that one. And then Awakened Power, which is a book by our
Oh
friend
yeah.
Chris Wellert that is not published, and we don't know when it will get published, but we got to read it ahead of time. And it's one that I've thought about a lot, and that's how I picked these books. I went through them, and I was like, "Which ones have I thought about throughout the year?"
Mhm.
And these are ones that I have thought about and still think about throughout this year. But my question for
Okay.
you, how many books do you think you have that you have not read?
I'm gonna say probably 100,
Okay. I
maybe.
would I would guess physical books, I have at least 200 that I haven't read. That would be my guess. Digital books, I would guess over 500.
I have no doubt you have a ton. And
Yeah.
I have a friend, my friend Anne, who we went to the one bookshop with. She has an in-home library that she redid. It's gorgeous,
I want
and
it.
I bet she has hundreds of books.
Well, like, my kind of library, I'm like, yes, the maj on when I look at those shelves, I feel like the majority I haven't actually read.
And so there you go. There you have like a good goal.
I do. I do, so I like this. I will be a customer of this item of ours. Okay, so
Which you mentioned Killer Story,
yes.
and she put out that she has her show that's coming out. Do you remember where it's going to be? Was it HBO Max? So the author is Claire Sandomal, and she was the one who wrote A Killer Story, and she was a field producer for 48 Hours and 60 Minutes.
Mhm.
And then she went on to write this book, and it's been really fun. It's fun to watch her. She's a native North Texan, and then she has now been working with someone that she had interviewed for, I think, 48 Hours or 60 Minutes. And
Mhm.
he's a Texas Ranger, and they're doing a show now, and that's coming out soon. I know that.
Okay, here it comes out January 13th at 10/9 Central on the ID channel and streaming the next day on HBO Max. So, and
I'm
the
excited for this.
and it says in her post that I got so excited when I saw this. She said, "If you've read my book Killer Story, then you know the genesis of this show was my profile of Texas Ranger James Holland on 60 Minutes in 2019." So, I am so excited about this. The show is called Killer Confessions. And she talked to us about this when we got to
Yes,
interview her. And this is just so cool to see like all of this come to play. I just have to share this one last thing. Because you didn't put the ratings in Storygraph, you don't have this, but
I don't.
my average star rating was 4.34, which I think is higher than last year. It's fine.
I feel like that's about average for me too. I honestly feel like a 4-star average is probably
Yeah,
where I land.
it's fine. All right, so we've got our first quarter starting. Woohoo! So January, February, March. Okay, so January. Any books that you're super excited about coming out in January?
So this is one that I just saw today.
Okay.
Simone St. James has a new book coming out, A Box Full of Darkness.
Ooh.
And I love Simone St. James because she does have that mix of paranormal. And it's one of those
Mhm.
things where like you're like, is this gonna be a ghost or is she gonna whiff it?
Yeah.
You know? And there's always a ghost. There's always
Yeah.
something
Yes.
that, brings it out and you're like, okay, this is totally worth it.
Yeah.
Um
When does that
this
one come
one
out?
is it comes out January 20th,
Okay.
and it's taking you back to Fell, New York. So Fell is what book?
Is
Was
that
it
the
the
one
Sundown Motel? Is
I
that
don't
where?
know.
But Fell is a town that one of her other books took place in,
Okay, so
and it
read the
says
description. Let's see. Let's see.
Fell, New York is known for bizarre occurrences, a fact that hit home for the Esme siblings when their little brother Ben disappeared during a game of hide and seek at their home. Haunted by the ghost of their home, the siblings all left home to never look back until decades later when the ghost of Ben calls them home to finally find answers. So I feel like I've liked all of Simone St. James books. I
I
know I
have.
read The Haunting of Maddie Clare
That was my
this
least
year.
favorite. That one was scary. That one was so scary. That's
That
her
one had some
scary.
scary. Yeah.
I didn't like it. That's why. It was too scary. The barn and the no, it was too scary.
What about
Yeah.
you? Do you have a January one?
I have a bunch, and
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk about this one, but just so y'all know, tomorrow, like, you're getting this episode on January 5th. Tomorrow, The Storm by Rachel Hawkins comes out. Our next episode will be all about it, and I believe maybe also on the 6th, we'll be publishing a reading guide for it, or maybe shortly thereafter on our Etsy shop. So, but yes, next episode, we'll talk all about it, so we're not gonna say anything now, but you should get it and read it. Okay, so one that I also just saw today, and I'm so excited about this, and I know you're not as excited as I am, but Woman Down by Colleen Hoover, and it comes out January 13th. Now, I know Colleen Hoover is very controversial like, in some ways, I feel like controversy follows her now. There was
Mhm.
first that people are like, "Oh my gosh, her books just make you cry, blah, blah, blah," and then Verity's crazy, which so excited for that movie to come out soon. But she also had some scandal with her son in a situation that she actually fully supported the victim rather than her son, so just know that. Then what is that? It Ends With Us, right?
Yes,
That
all of that
there's so
drama.
much drama with that. So, yeah, so poor thing. But this, I knew a couple of years ago at least that she had a 3-book thriller deal, and I've been waiting for her to publish because I think her last book that was published might have been 3 years ago with It
Mm,
Starts With Us. I believe that was her last book. So, this is the first book in a while, and it is a thriller.
yeah.
And so it says, Woman Down is a new thriller novel by Colleen Hoover about a frustrated author, Petra Rose, who retreats to a secluded cabin for inspiration and finds it in a real-life detective, Nathaniel Saint, blurring the lines between her fictional work and reality. The book originated from a short story called Saint and has been expanded into a full-length novel with new characters and plot twists, making it one of Hoover's darkest thrillers yet. Okay.
And I'm not a huge Colleen Hoover fan. I did like Verity,
Mhm.
but I'm curious to see how that movie goes. But you'll have to tell me how that one is.
I will. I'll let you know. Don't worry.
And then this one I'm excited about, the Ashley Elston book, Anatomy of an Alibi. It comes
Hmm.
out also January 20th.
Mhm.
I think you said that you just got this from Book of the Month. It's on your
I did. And I forgot to put it here because I forgot it was a new release. But yes, she also wrote First Lie Wins, right? That's
and
that
that was
one.
a good book.
It
I
was
enjoyed
such a
that
good
one.
book. Yeah.
And this one is Camille Bayliss suspects her husband Ben, a hotshot lawyer, has been hiding dirty secrets for years, but she can't prove it because he tracks her every move. Aubrey Price blames Ben for the worst night of her life a decade ago. Together, Aubrey and Camille hatch a plan to switch places for 12 hours so Camille can spy on Ben. When Ben is found murdered the next morning, only one of them has an airtight alibi. So
That
that sounds good. All about those thrillers.
I know. I'm all about those thrillers. I've got for
Mhm.
January alone, I've got 2 more thrillers on here. So let
All
me
right,
go to
let's
the
talk
next
about them.
one. Okay, so My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney, which I think I got that one in my book of the month box too. Which, guys, what you might not know unless you follow me on Instagram, I thought I had canceled book of the month a long time ago and I didn't. And so I discovered I had 9 credits. So it looks like I'm going to have to pay for one more month after this because you can only get 5 books at a time.
Well,
So I can't just, I'm going to have to wait till next
make it
month's
happen. Yeah.
charge to get the rest of them. That's fine. But anyway, so this is one that I also got in there because aside from I think Daisy Darker is the only Alice Feeney that I just do not like.
Mhm.
I've liked most of her other ones, and this one sounds really interesting. It comes out January 20th, but I'm gonna have it, well, whenever my book of the
Sooner.
month box shows up. It's fine. All right, so Eden Fox, an artist on the brink of her big break, sets off for a run before her first exhibition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into, Spyglass, an enchanting old house in Hope Falls, nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit. A woman eerily similar to her answers the door, and her husband insists that the stranger is his wife. One house, one husband, two women, someone is lying. 6 months
Ooh.
earlier, a reclusive Londoner called Bertie, reeling from a life changing diagnosis, inherits spyglass. This unexpected gift from a long lost grandmother brings her to the pretty east side village of Hope Falls. But then Bertie stumbles upon a shadowy London clinic that claims to be able to predict a person's date of death, including her own. Secrets start to unravel, and as the line between truth and lies blurs, Bertie feels compelled to right some old wrongs. My Husband's Wife is a tangled web of deception, obsession, and mystery that will keep you guessing until the last page. Prepare yourself for the ultimate mind bending marriage thriller and step into Spyglass, if you dare, to experience a story where nothing is
Ooh.
as it seems.
Okay, that sounds good.
I know. I feel like it's going to be one of those where it's different timelines, and
Yes.
then at some point it's going to come together and you're going to be
Mhm.
like, wait, what? That's what I feel like. She's really good at that.
She
So,
is.
do you have any more January books or should I just do my last one?
Go on with your last one.
Okay, so this one is also a thriller. And yes, it is Frida McFadden who recently started showing her face instead of hiding. I guess she gave up. What I think I heard her say in an interview is that a coworker figured it out and
Uh,
outed her to like a bunch of colleagues. So then it was like, well, she might as well come out. And it was in not in like in a sinister way. Like I think it was like
okay.
the person didn't realize what a big deal this was. So,
Yeah.
all right. So this is called Dear Debbie. Sometimes enough is enough. Debbie Mullen is losing it. For years, she has compiled all of her best advice into her column, Dear Debbie, where the wives of New England come for sympathy and neighborly advice. Through her work, Debbie has heard from countless women who are ignored, belittled, or even abused by their husbands, and Debbie does her best to guide them in the right direction, or at least she did. These days, Debbie's life seems to be spiraling out of control. She just lost her job, something strange is happening with her teenage daughters, and her husband is keeping secrets according to the tracking app she installed on his phone. Now, Debbie's done being the bigger person. She's done being reasonable and practical. It's time to take her own advice. And now it's time for payback against all the people in her life who deserve it the most.
I'm curious to see if you like this one because I know Frida McFadden is,
She's hit or miss. She is, and the last one was a winner, so I'm worried that this one won't be, but we'll
yeah.
see.
We'll see. So my next book is from February. And if you have not fallen into the Dungeon Crawler Carl universe, one, you should do it. It's fun. The audiobook is definitely the way to go for Dungeon Crawler Carl because it is a full on cinematic experience for your ears. Like they have done this well. His new book, it is from the same author, it's Matt Dinneman, but it's not Dungeon Crawler Carl. So this is all columnist Oliver Lewis ever wanted to do is run the family ranch with his sister, maybe play a gig or two with his band, and keep his family's aging fleet of intelligent agriculture bots ticking as long as possible. As a fan of Earth television and culture, he figures it will be a good thing when the transfer gate finally opens all the way and restores instant travel and full communication between Earth and his planet, New Sonora. But there's a complication. Even though the settlers were promised they'd be left in peace, Earth's government now has other plans. The colossal Apex Corporation is hired to commence an eviction action, but maximizing profits will always be Apex's number one priority. Why spend money printing and deploying their own AI soldiers when they can turn it into a game? Why not charge bored Earthers for the opportunity to design their own war machines and remotely pilot them from the comfort of their own home? The game is called Operation Bounce House. Oliver and his friends soon find themselves fighting for their lives against machines piloted by gamers who've paid a premium for the privilege. With the help of an old book from his grandfather and a bucket of rusty parts, Oliver is determined to defend the only home he's ever known. So I think it has like some of the same feel to it as
Yeah.
Dungeon Crawler Carl because Apex Corporation is in Dungeon Crawler Carl. So
Okay.
anyway, I think it'll be fun. So
That's
I'm excited about
exciting.
that one. If you are into Dungeon Crawler Carl, I imagine you'll like this one as well.
Okay. I only have 3 for February. And of course, one of them is a thriller. We'll just do that one. It's nice and short. It's It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. Sure, we'll go with that. February 3rd. And I just did the short blurb. Two families vacationing at a secluded lake resort are at the center of a chilling crime and mysterious disappearance in this twisty, unputdownable thriller. So
It does sound good.
it does
Do you
sound
want to
good.
just quickly mention the other two that you have for February?
Sure. One of them is The Astral Library by Kate Quinn, which Kate Quinn has written some other books that I've read. What are they?
She did the Alice Network,
Yep, did that one.
the Briar Club. She's
I don't
written
think
a couple,
she's written
because
a
my
couple.
mother-in-law and I were just talking about her, and um, I'm getting to go see her in February when
Mhm.
the Astral Library comes out at Dallas Museum of Art. That was one of my Christmas presents.
Yes. So, I'm not it's a very long description, but it sounds almost fantasy, but maybe it's
Yes,
not.
it sounds a little bit fantasy. I feel like she's usually written more historical fiction, so maybe
Yeah.
this is like a change for her. It also sounded fantasy-ish to me, but it sounded really good. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to go hear her
Mhm.
talk and read that one.
Yeah.
And I see on here that you also have a new book by B.K. Borison.
But do you see my note there?
I do.
Haven't read any, but have one on my shelf and one in the mail because I did get the book that Leyna I feel like was it Good Spirits? I feel
Yeah.
like you have talked about this book so much that I was like, "I'm gonna have to read this book." And when I saw it, because I was like, "I have 9 credits, I gotta spend credits." And I saw it, I think that was the first one that went into my box. I was like, "Oh, gotta get that." Lena mentioned that one. Okay. So,
It's
yeah,
such
but
a
go
good book.
ahead. You talk about
And
this one.
I haven't really heard anything about this. I do know that it's coming out. It's called And Now Back to You, and it's about
Mhm.
competing meteorologists. But I think that it will be fun because I am gonna go read all of her books now after Good Spirits. It was so good.
So, it says that this one is inspired by When Harry Met Sally. What was
Okay.
is Good Spirits inspired by the, Christmas Carol?
Yes.
Okay, and then I know that I the book that I have from our friend Emily, First Time Caller, is kinda based on or inspired by Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay.
So that so I'm really excited, I haven't read any, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
be reading these soon probably. Alright, so now on to March.
One of my favorite authors you put on here, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna steal your your
Do it,
note because
do
it
it.
comes out on my birthday. It's
Yes.
Abby Jimenez, and it is The Night We Met, and it comes out on March 31st, so it's definitely a birthday present to me. And this is, I believe, it's the precursor
Oh,
to the Say You'll Remember Me.
okay, 'cause it in the on Goodreads, it said in parentheses, "Say you will remember me too," but that just might mean it's the 2nd book
Okay.
published.
So I'm not sure. I feel like
Okay.
that it was supposed to take place in the past. It says in everyone's life there's a split second decision that can change everything. For Larissa, it came when choosing which guy to ride home with after a concert. That night she had no idea she'd met the perfect man. She and Chris are great together, co-parenting a slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie, sharing their favorite books and judging Fred, pumpernickel for the win. For the first time amid all her side hustles to scrape by, things finally feel easy. That Chris isn't the one who drove Larissa home all those months ago. Chris is her boyfriend's best friend. All Chris wants is for Larissa to be happy. Standing by on the sidelines is slowly killing him, but making a move would destroy someone else, and he's just not that guy. So I'm excited to read that.
Yes. Um, so then another love story one called Love Song by Elle Kennedy. I'm not going to go into details
Okay.
there, but if you don't know Elle Kennedy, she writes some of my favorite sports, hockey, romances, and this is another one of those with a new generation of off-campus characters. And then there's one that I want to read, but I'm also very nervous to read. It's called A
No.
Far-Flung Life by M.L. Stedman. It comes out
Okay.
March 3rd. And this is the author that wrote The Light Between the Oceans, which hands down is one of the probably top 5 books I cried the most in. I read it
Okay.
in one day and I sobbed the entire book. And it was one of those where there were like there were 2 sides to the story and you 100% understood both sides and you were rooting for both sides and it's just awful, awful, awful. But this one and that was The Light Between the Oceans, right? So this one's A Far-Flung Life. It says, capturing a family, a community, a far-flung life tells of the many ways humans can do each other wrong and how we move on when things can't be put right. With shimmering prose and a delicious wit, the mysteries of being human are laid bare in this hopeful meditation on time and resilience and the links we go to protect what we love. So it sounds like it's going to be another tearjerker. I'm just saying. But
Yeah.
It also takes place in Australia, which the other one was in an island off of Australia, and I'll probably read it when I'm like, I need to cry. I mean, the writing was beautiful, like, I could
Yeah.
not put it down. So,
Okay. I
alright,
haven't heard of that author before, so I'll have to look into that.
alright.
And Finley Donovan has a new book. So it's in the Finley Donovan series. It's Finley Donovan Crosses the Line by El Casimano. It comes out March 17th, so happy St. Patrick's Day. I got the first 12 chapters on NetGalley. It wasn't a full book, but I read the first 12 chapters. And this might be one of my favorite Finley Donovans that I've read, because I feel like they got a little far-flung for a while, but now it's kind of bringing it back. And I felt like this one was really good. So I can't wait to read the rest of it. And I think that y'all will like it. If you haven't read Finley Donovan, go start with the first one. I feel like you could kind of jump in. Like, they're fun books.
Yeah. Alright.
You should do it.
Okay, well, I think that covers everything from
Yes.
2025 to first quarter 2026.
Mind blown. It's
I know.
already 2026. And I hope you'll all join us on our reading challenge. Find us on Patreon so that you can go download our reading challenge. We'll put that, if it's not already in there, we'll put that on our link tree too on our Instagram, so you can find us there. I'll include it inside of our show notes, and then also put our Etsy shop on there too, so that you can find all of our cool stuff that we've been
Yay!
creating.
Yep.
And it's so good to be back, and
Yes!
I can't wait to read with all of you in 2026.
Yay!
Until next time,
Bye!
bye.
Thank you for listening to More Than a Book Club podcast. We are recorded and produced in McKinney, Texas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.